Okay, we are told that 8 men took 12 days to finish a piece of work. Well, we might want to write it out. So 8 men is going to take 12 days. Alright, if you have watched the first part of this video on direct proportion, I said that no question is going to specify, although sometimes they do, but most time they wouldn't tell you whether it is direct proportion or indirect proportion. You just have to figure it out yourself. So from the uh, parameters were given. Okay, the question we should find how long it will take 6 men, 12 men. Well, let's ask ourselves a question. Well, remember I taught you that there are two methods basically that we use. The first one is the unit method, where you have to find 1 unit of anything you are asked to find, or for direct proportion now we say that their ratios must always be equal. So we're going to see whether this is direct proportion first or indirect proportion, then we talk about the methods to use. Well, let's use the unit method also. So 8 men is 12 days. So what if 1 man was doing the job? 1 man will be how many days? Well, you see that the number of men has reduced, right? From 8 to 1. What do you think will happen? When 8 men are working and it takes them 12 days, 1 man should take him more days, right? Because he's doing what 8 men will do in 12 days, only him, it take more days. So you see that the day is going to increase. So you see that as number of men is going down, number of days is going up. So that means this is an indirect proportion. So I think one of the first things you should put to mind in trying to understand proportion, you don't forget about how to solve it. It's important but not very important. If you can figure out whether something is whether quantities are directly proportional or indirectly proportional, then you will always know what to do. And it can also help you to examine your answer when you're done solving. Sometimes I give some of my students this thing to solve. You just watch the way they're solving and they get an answer, and you really know that they have not understood it yet, because the sign to show that you have understood proportion is that you can tell if your answer is correct or wrong. So when I'm solving a question that is indirect proportion, for instance, in this case now, I'm expecting the number of days for 1 man to be much more greater than 12. Now, if I get an answer that is less than 12, I don't need anybody to tell me. I'll just look for where I got it wrong. So understanding this is better than just knowing the process of solving. And no, try to understand it first. That's the most important thing. So if you understand this, then we can go ahead solving. So we know that number of days should be more. That's what I'm going to multiply. When the days should be more, we should multiply. So we're going to have 8 times 12, and that will be equal to 8 times 2 is 16, carry 1, 8 times that's 96 now. So it's going to take 96 days for 1 man. Now, if you can find the units, that's the important thing about this method, is that once you found the constant of proportion, you can just get the rest at the same time. So 6 men, well, it's just like the 6 men are not going to share the 96 days among themselves, right? So it's going to be 96 over 6. Now, see, once you get this value, all right, forget about the 12 days and the 8 men that were given to you initially. It's as though they give you these values first in the question. So for you to find the constant, this is what we call the constant. All right, so that 1 man is 96 days. So from 1 man, you cannot begin to find how many number of men that were asked to find. So once we know that 1 man will take 96 days, 6 men, they will share the 96 days among themselves. 12 men will share the 96 days among themselves. And you keep going like that. So let's divide. You know that 6 into 9 is 1 remainder. 3 into 36 is 6. So it's going to take them 16 days. B, 12 men, we are going to divide the 96 days among themselves. Well, we can just break this down step by step. So 3 into 12 will be 4. 3 into 9 will be 32. And then 32 over 4 is 8. So it's going to take 12 men 8 days. So notice that it is constant. As the number of men increase, days reduce. So from 1 man 96 days, the men increase to 6, the days reduce to 16. The men increase to 12 again, the days reduce to 8. And it makes sense, right? Because 6, oh my God, are you seeing that now? 6 men multiplied by 2 is 12, right? That's why the days was divided by 2. 16 days divided by 2 to give 8. Again, it proves that what we're doing is very, very correct. So understanding this makes you to enjoy what you're solving than just solving and getting frustrated at the end of the day. So that is it. I hope so. Okay, before we call it a day, let me just show you the next step, like I promised, or the next way, or the other way, whichever one. So unlike in direct proportion, we say that when quantities are directly proportional, their ratios are the same. In this case, it is their product that is the same. So from the question, we are told that 8 men, just get the product of the values we are given. So that 8 men is how many days now? Okay, let me check. 12 days. 12 days. So 8 men times 12 days must be equal to, okay, let me just look for 12 men. 12 men times x days, right? Since we don't know, we just want to use this formula to find. Now, we're expecting to get 8 at the end of the day. 8 times 12, well, do I even need to solve anything? Let me not multiply out because I have 12. Let me just leave the quantities now. See what we have. 8 times 12 is equal to 12x, right? Leaving the quantities because obviously men is going to cancel men, so I'm looking for days. So we just divide both sides by 12 to find the number of days, so that x is equal to, see that 12 is going to cancel 12 here. We have 8 days, the same thing. So no need of multiplying everything out.